generate an estimated 2.2 billion tons of trash every year. But do you know where it goes? Trash usually ends up in one of four locations: garbage dumps, landfills, recycling centers, and waste-to-energy sites. This is what most of us probably think of when we hear the word trash. Garbage dumps have existed near settlements for nearly all of history. Today, they work almost exactly the same as how they did when the Roman Empire was at its height. They're large, open spaces that garbage collectors dump trash into. Landfills are similar, but there's a bit more to them than you'd think. After a patch of land is excavated, it's covered with a liner made up of a combination of clay or synthetic materials. Often landfills have a primary and secondary liner to prevent the liquids that naturally emerge from solid waste from contaminating the area's groundwater supply. The liners aren't perfect, so there is also a system to collect the leachate that does escape over time. Liquids aren't the only things that emerge from solid waste as they sit unattended. Solid waste in landfills will emit methane, which can be up to 84 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. Landfills contribute as much as 15% of global methane emissions. That's equivalent to the emissions from 21.6 million cars for an entire year. To remove the landfill gas, a series of pipes are embedded into the area. The gas collected is either vented, burned, or used as power. To prevent methane from escaping into the air and pests from getting into the trash, each section is also normally covered up with a cap or compacted soil once it's reached capacity. This effectively means the trash is buried underground. Once set, vents are built into the soil caps so the flammable gases don't accumulate underground and trigger a massive explosion. Recyclable waste is sorted and sold to buyers with the help of machines and equipment that move anywhere from 30 to 900 tons of recycling a day. But the process isn't always like this. In some places, recyclables are pre-sorted at home. This reduces the contamination that could ruin entire batches of recycled material, while in others, people make a living gathering and selling recyclable materials themselves. Certain materials really need to be recycled, as it would otherwise take a lot of time for them to fully decompose. Without recycling, we'd have to dedicate even more space on our planet for dumps and landfills. And yet the percentage of recyclables that actually gets recycled is surprising. Common materials such as plastic, metal, glass, and paper are all recycled with varying levels of success. Plastic, for instance, is hard to recycle. About 91% of plastic doesn't get recycled and ends up in landfills, where it piles up and slowly breaks down into dangerous microplastics. But metal, glass, and paper generally fare better. Waste-to-energy plants are another way to repurpose waste. They utilize the heat generated from burning waste to create steam, which is then used to generate electricity or heating. In Florida's Hillsborough County, this facility burns up to 1,800 tons of trash and turns it into 47 megawatts of energy every day. A portion of the energy is used to power thousands of residential homes. The facility has single-handedly cut landfill waste in the area by 90%, protecting a valuable natural resource, land. But not all waste ends up in these places. Waste management remains a pressing concern around the world. Mishandling waste, whether it's illegal dumping or littering, often ends up with garbage in places like our oceans. Trash accumulates in 5 main zones in the ocean. The largest one is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, spanning an estimated area of 617,763 square miles, or about twice the size of Texas. It's mostly made up of plastics that have broken down into microplastics and become hard to remove. That's where the ocean cleanup comes in. They use computational modeling to predict where the hotspots are and place their U-shaped barriers into the water to capture and extract the trash. In 9 extractions, their systems removed 63,182 pounds of garbage, but there's still a lot of work to be done. you have a better idea for what we can do with our trash? Let us know in the comments.